Hello all. So today 10 Python interview question that will help you to ace any interview. Not only that, it would help you to understand the concept behind it. So it would help to impress the interviewer. So will help to understand the code behind all these questions. Let's start. Question number 1. Differentiate between list and tuple. So yes, list and tuples are nothing but the data types that we have in our Python. There are many other data types like numbers, numeric, like string, like uh, numeric, string, boolean, list, tuple, dictionary, set, etc. So two of those data types we have list and tuple. What is list? List are the mutable thing. Mutable means which we can change after creating the list. All right. Tuples are also for storing the data items, but which is immutable. What is the meaning of immutable? Once my collection of item has been created, I cannot delete it, I cannot modify it, I cannot alter it. All right. Lists are slower than the tuple. Tuples are faster than the list, right? Whenever you are working with the machine learning thing, then you have to deal with a lot of data, many rows, all right, billion of rows, and it is having a data in it. So to select where we are storing that data is an important thing. All right. Now, what is the syntax to store the data item in a list? So you can see over here we have square bracket, and inside that we have all the data items like 10, Chelsea, 20. I can store other numeric float value inside it. But whenever you see a square bracket, then that means it is a list. All right. And whenever you see a this round bracket, right, then it is a tuple. So list and tuple are like the same thing, but the main difference between it is list is mutable and tuples are immutable. Also, tuples are very faster. We can modify one type to another using the predefined function, which already are there in in different libraries. All right, let's understand it by the example. All right, so you can see over here, this is my list I have created. So using a square bracket, I can create a empty list. Okay, and by adding the data into it, so we have to use comma in order to separate the data, and we can add numbers, string, float, right, etc. into it. So this is a list. Okay, now how we can delete the element from the list? So we can delete the element. You can see over here I have a list, this my list, where I have stored a different values in it. Okay, different datas in it. Now using del keyword, I can delete my element by specifying the index. So you can see over here, like at the fifth index. Now what is index? Index is for pointing the element. All right. Always index starts from 0. So here in this list, the fifth at the fifth index, my data would be this 3.132. That would get deleted. All right. Now remove. What is the meaning of remove? By specifying the value, not by index, I can remove that particular element. We will see that also in the collab. I'll perform this and we'll see the output also. Just wait. Mylist.pop. Pop is for popping out the element, all right, from the index. And clear means entirely clearing out the list. All right, so this were certain things you should know about list. What is tuple? Tuple is an immutable data type, which is similar like a list, which is much faster than the list. How we can create a tuple? We can create a tuple by round brackets. All right, and everything should be separated by the comma. So here Python and Edureka are the two data items which I am storing in a tuple. There is also one way by not specifying the round brackets. By default, it would create a tuple only. Okay. Questions. Let's start. Question number one. We'll see that in a Colab later. Now, how I can access the element of the tuple. So I can access the element of a tuple again using the indexing. All right. So yes, you can see over here in this, I am having my tuple 2, where I have 1, 2, 3 Edureka, right? Data items in it. And this is, I'm printing tuple 2. Differentiate between, and by specifying 0 in the square bracket, I'm specifying the zeroth element. This is column, this only, by passing the column only in this square, I am uh, showing the entire tuple, right? 3 and 2 means whenever my tuple is having list inside it, then I have to write the syntax like this only. Let me start the slideshow. That would help me to teach you with annotations. Right. Now, what is this? See, this is again another tuple where it is having three data items, right? 1, 2, 3. And by using the addition symbol, by using this concatenation symbol, I'm adding 4, 5, 6 also. So this is also facilitated by tuple, right? So let's see this is the Colab. Okay, for those who do not know what Colab is provided by the Google. Like this is the collaboratory where I can use resources from the cloud, right? My system is not using any resources of it. So for execution purpose, it is using the resources from the cloud, right? So this is very helpful whenever you are having the low configuration systems and you want to do machine learning algorithms when you execute such big codes, right? So you all you need to have is your Gmail account and then you can log in. I have logged in and started this Python notebook. String, list, so see, this is my list and this is the square bracket. So what, and I'm printing it. So printing means I'm printing the empty list. This is the list where 1, 2, 3 example 3, 1, 2, 3 is the data I have stored in this. So if I would execute this, then what output I'm getting? I'm after printing the first, my list is empty, and then I'm storing the data into it. So you can see over here, data types, right? Now let's see the next thing. What is this? My list. Again, my list. This all thing I'm having 1, 2, 3, and this all data I'm storing. If you can see where my mouse is hovering. Now I'm deleting the item which is at the 5th index. All right. So what it would do? So let me print after deleting the, what is list? List after deleting it. So yes, means if I would execute it, creating the list. All right, you can see over here, my 5th element would be 10, which is now deleted. And you can see here in this output, the 10th is not there, which is deleted. If I want to delete example, see here I'm passing the index, here I'm passing the value, right? I cannot remember the index of every data stored in the tuple. So what I will do, I will just type its name. So dot remove will help me to bring the data items, but which is immutable. Remove that particular element, right? Now what is popping the element? So you can see here this clearing the, if I would print my list at the end of this clear usage, then I won't get anything inside the list. So my list, what I would get, can see my entire list is deleted. What is the okay? Now let's understand the tuple. So this is how tuple is created using the round bracket, as I have told you in the PPT while explaining the PPT. This is for loop I'm using in order to iterate through the tuple. Like if I want to iterate through all the data items which is there in the tuple, then I will use this kind of syntax. All right. If I would execute this particular cell, then you can see I cannot modify it. I can alter it. If you can see over here, everything is concatenated. So you can see in the output, right? The important thing to understand is why tuple is immutable, right? My tuple is having the data, and if I want to change the data into it. So let's say I am creating tup, which is the tuple, and I am passing A and B data item. All right, A and B, because these are the characters. I have to specify it in the okay. My tuple is created. Now, if I want to change B, and if I want place C in a place of B, right? If I want to substitute that C in a place of B, I would try by specifying it index. What is the index right now? The index is 0 and 1. B is at 1, right? So I am passing C. Then here. And then I am printing the value. All right. Right? A value of tuple. So whether tuple is allowing me or not. Let's check. Why this error is there? Because it does not support mutability, right? It is immutable. I cannot modify my tup tuple because it is once it is created, it is created only. All right. Okay. Billion of rows. Can I modify list? And it is having a let's check also. List is equals to this. No, not this square bracket. And inside that, I'm passing A and B on this. And once my list is created, if I want to select the element and if I want to place this C and then printing this list. Sorry, list is the keyword only. So I am using LIS. Okay. I'm just commenting out all this code. What is the syntax to store and then executing it? Can you see? Yes. The C has been placed here and here in the place of B. C has been substituted. All right. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. So that is what immutability and mutability means. What are the lambda functions? What are lambda functions? So we are having many type of functions in the Python. Like we have a user defined function, we are having a built-in functions, we are having the lambda functions also, right? What are the user defined? The functions which are defined by the coder, right? And what are the predefined functions? So like print, etc., delete are all predefined function, which is already provided by you by the Python. And also we have a lambda function. So what are lambda functions? It is anonymous. It do not have any name. Nameless function it is. All right. So we have to use a keyword lambda in order to write a particular function. Functions are nothing but are certain modules which is performing certain tasks. All right. So here you can see this is the lambda argument. All the data items. We have to write lambda keyword. We have to pass the argument here and then colon and then expressions. Okay. So Python lambda function, here argument can be one or many, but expression would be one. Arguments are nothing but the parameter which we use to pass in our functions, right? For example, if we are creating a function of sum, the sum a plus b, a and b are the parameter, and addition would be the thing that that sum function would do. Here expression would be that same thing. It is going to what we call it, would do certain things on that particular argument. So you can see how I am writing a lambda function. So lambda numeric, here I'm passing the argument x, colon, and in the place of expression, I am using x into x. So I am basically finding the square of any number. And then I'm printing a. A is nothing but the lambda function. And I'm passing 3. 3 means x. All right, let's see the another example. Lambda, I'm passing two arguments, x and y, x into y. All right, and after, like, in order to print it, I have to pass two arguments for x and for y. All right, then we have this another example. def, that is def, user defined function. Def is for defining the function. So I'm creating a new function where I'm passing x. And in return, I am writing the functionality of that particular function. Let's see this code here in this. So lambda, I have already explained, I'm executing this particular cell. I'm getting 9 because 3 square is 9. Then this b, lambda x and y, I'm multiplying it. So 3 into 7, that would be 21. And then this. So in user defined function, I'm passing the lambda function. All right. So what is a lambda function? Anonymous functions, which is doing certain task. Back to PPT. Now the question number 3. Explain the classes and the objects. What are the classes? Classes is helping me to create the objects, right? And it is one kind of blueprint. It is a OOP concept basically. Okay. But the main difference between OOP concept, object oriented programming, is entirely based on classes and objects. So what is a class? Class is a blueprint. So we have a blueprint of any building, and we can create many buildings from that. Okay. So how we can create a class and how we can create a object. So we are having a class. We have to write it in a smaller case, class and the class name. And inside the class name, we have to write what particularly that class a class will do. For example, we are having a circle. We are having a rectangle. Okay, circle is having a different unique features, like it is having a radius, it is having the center. My rectangle is having a unique features, like it is having the length, breadth. So these all are the classes, right? For example, if I am the employee, employee is having the employee ID, employee is having the employee name. So that is a class. And there are multiple employees, right? Which is having the ID, different IDs, different names. So objects are nothing but a part of a class, an instance of a class, right? So you can see here in this example, which is bold in color, class, employee, and then colon. Inside that, I have passed ID equals to 10, name Devansh. And then I have defined a function, and the name of the function is self. And then I've printed self.id, self.name. Now, what is self? I'll explain that later. So let's come here. What is class? Class is the blueprint. And the name of the class is employee. ID is 10 and the name is Devansh. Okay. Now what this display function will do? Display function will display the what we call uh, its name and ID, right? Now here you can see I have created the instance. E is the instance. E is equals to name of the class and open bracket. So here what I have did, I have created the object of a class. I can create the object like this also. P is equals to employee. So object is equals to class will create the object, right? So I am having two objects here, E and B, and I'm printing its value. How we have to print the value? I cannot call display as it is. So I have to call display. The display is a function there in the class. Whatever functionality class is providing, I have to use it using dot operator. All right. So here you can see I am having a dot operator and I am using e dot display. So e dot display will display the function. So I'm executing it. It is already executed. 10 Devansh. And none. Why none? Because I haven't called anything using B. So if I would print and call the display using that object B, it is not going to show me none. No, it is again show me the none. Why? You tell me why I'm getting none, right? That's up to you. You have to solve this particular problem. Why I'm getting none here. Now let's move to the next. This is instance variable and class variable. There are two way by which I can create variable inside the class. One is instance and another is class variable. But I'm not going to discuss that. And we can what is init? Okay, if you would see this init. So what is init? Init is a constructor. What is init? Init is a constructor which is helping me uh, to we can say that which is helping me to assign the value. All right, so you can see that's a method or a constructor in a Python. If you people are aware of the constructor of Java, constructor are helping me for assigning the values, right? And that particularly allocates the memory whenever any object. So if I'm having 100 objects in the Python, it would create the different memories for those particular objects. So if you can see, I'll explain that particular thing from the Colab. I'm having the class, I'm having the employee, right? So def init, init is the method, right? And init will always take first parameter as self, then name, age, and salary. Okay, these are all parameter I am passing, but my first parameter will be self always. What is the meaning of self? We'll discuss that in the later slide. All right, if you, I hope you people are finding it interesting. Okay, so init will always take first parameter as self, then any parameter if you whatever you want to pass. I'm passing name, age, and salary. Then if I pass the self dot name, self dot age, and self dot salary, I have assigned the salary 20,000 by default. Now I am creating the object of this particular employee class. While creating the object and calling the class, I do not have to write self, right? So what is the name of the employee XYZ? What is the age 23 and what is the salary? This 20,000. Okay, I have created even. So even is an instance of a class or E1 is the object of a class. Okay, I can create E2 also. So if I would create E2, E2 is equals to I'll copy this thing and I'm writing ABC. ABC is the name of the employee. The age is 30. So you can see over here, like at the fifth index. Now what is in index is for pointing the element. Or Yes, E2 we can do. We can after printing all the values, we can easily get the data of it, right? So in it will allocate the memory for E1, E2, whatever the objects you would create. All right. All right. Now, what is the inheritance? Inheritance is helping me for reusability of a code. Okay, I am having a big code. I do not have to write it again and again. All I need to do is from the existing class, if I want to use a small function, I can use using inheritance, right? For example, we have inherited certain features from our parent, right? Similarly, so we are having how many types of inheritance we have in Python? We have single, we have multiple inheritance, multi-level, hierarchical. So what is the syntax of inheritance? So class derived. So we have a keyword derived base class. The name of the class is base class. Let's see with that with the example. So I'm having the class, the name of the class is parent. I'm having the function one inside the parent, which I will use from the child class, right? So here in this, here, how I will use it, class, this is base class, child, and would be this 3.132. That would get deleted. And then I'll create the object and I can use the functionality. So this is the example of single inheritance. I'll give you the task to understand. Just do it by yourself. Multiple level inheritance, right? So what is a super function? See, whenever I am a child, see, there are two classes, parent classes and child classes. Parent are always from where I'm inheriting, okay, and child classes. So if I want to use something from the parent class, I will use this super function. So let's go to this. This is super function, right? So parent classes, function one is the function of parent. So if I'm using this function one of parent, I'll use super. Super indicates super class of that particular child class. All right. So you can explain that to the interviewer. So what is a write a program in a Python to check if the number is a prime. So what are the prime number? Prime number are what are the prime number? Prime numbers are the numbers that is divisible by one or itself. Okay. So let's see that particular thing in this particular element. So you can see I have taken the number, I have taken the input, enter the number. It is helping me to get checked if the number is greater than one, right? And then I have iterated, and if the number is divisible by any number, it is divisible by two or any number, then it is not a prime. That is what I have done. Okay, otherwise it is a prime number. So this is the kind of a code you can write before interviewer. All right. Pop, pop is for popping. What is a what is a Python pandas? So pandas is a kind of a library that we are having. There are many libraries we are having. All right. Panda is one of that, one of those libraries like NumPy, sklearn, scikit, etc. So while Panda is there for data manipulation, data pre-processing, data analysis, right? So if I'm having a large data, if I want to understand something out of it, if I want to remove the NN unlabeled data, to remove the empty data, we can do it using the pandas. So I'll install using pip install pandas. What is the data frame in the pandas? All right. So data frame is a two-dimensional data structure, right? Data structures are there, list, tuple, they are all one-dimensional. Data frame is two-dimensional data, which is having the rows and columns. So it is then we can create the data frame. So let's see from here. So this is import pandas as PD. Panda is the library, pandas is the library, and PD is the alias. So you can see over here, day is one column, which is having this data. Visitor is the second, which is having this data. So this is a syntax. In the curly braces, I have to write using colon. So this is my first data name, day. and it is its value, which is separated by the calling. Right now, pd dot data frame, where I'm passing all this data, and if I would execute this, I'll get I'll see the data frame like this only. So we have a day, visitors, and bounce rate of my particular website. Okay, now let's see the question number 9. It was question number 9 only. Now, what is a Fibonacci series? Fibonacci series is nothing but a series that adds the number. So it starts from 0 and 1, and I'm adding 0 and 1, 1 and 1, that is 2. Likewise. So let's see the code. So you can see over here how many elements I want in the Fibonacci. 10 elements, right? My number 1 will always be 0, my number 2 will always be 0 and 1. So 0 and 1 are the two fixed numbers we have. Now the next number will be 1 only, and then I am adding it, right? So if I would execute it, I'm getting 1, 0, 1, then 1, 1 plus 2, 3, 2 plus 3, 5, 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 5, 13, likewise, right? So my number here is the addition of the previous two numbers. So I'm using the count here, while loop. So I'm counting, my count would be less, it would iterate lesser than equals to 10, right? And I'm adding two things. So I hope you have found this session informative, and for more such informative sessions, just join Programming Hub Gold and just take advantage of all the important things out there for the Python. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, audience, for listening me patiently. You can create a tuple by understanding code behind by round bracket. All right, and everything should be separated by the comma. So here